The Call of Duty weapon reviews are finally here, and I'm 6 months late as of April 2015. Oy. Well, better late than never. Everyone has to start somewhere. So let's begin. Hello, I'm SPC Brawlers, aka Brawlers, and welcome to my first weapon review in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Our first weapon review is the BAL 27 Assault Rifle. A new assault rifle added to the Call of Duty arsenal. This is a very popular gun that is used in the game. On top of that, the BAL 27's unique trait is it has the best fire rate in the assault rifle class. Some adore this arm, while others simply don't bother with it. But we're not here to judge this weapon. It's time to see what this gun has to bring to the table for all of you out there. With that said, let's get started. Want to get your hands on this weapon? Well, you don't have to play the waiting game because this weapon is unlocked by default and is part of Creator class right from the start. This is a fully automatic assault rifle, so there's no need to get trigger happy with your fingers. The rate of fire with this weapon is very unique because out of the other assault rifles, the BAL's fire rate increases after a certain amount of bullets are shot. The rate of fire for the first 4 rounds is 666 RPM, 4 rounds per minute. Wait. Oh, great. Well, putting that reference aside, if you cut that down by 60 seconds, you will get yourself 11.1 rounds per second. For the rest of the rounds is 857 RPM. And if you cut that down by 60 again, you'll be looking at yourself at 14.2 rounds per second. The magazine size with this assault rifle is 32 rounds. Most assault rifles' standard magazine is 30 bullets, but with the BAL 27 gives users a smidgen of generosity with 2 extra bullets. And in multiplayer, every bullet counts if you want to take down your opponents. Continuing with the stats, the BAL 27 is a medium penetration powered gun. You can shoot through some walls with no problem, but avoid shooting through concrete walls and metal barriers if enemies are behind them. Just simply use your exo abilities or find yourself a way around the obstacles to get that successful kill. Within close quarters, the BAL requires 3 to 4 bullets to kill your enemies, and in the long range battles becomes a 4 to 5 hit kill. Aiming for the head will reduce the BAL to a 2 hit kill up close and a 3 hit kill at range. If you ask me, this is pretty standard since assault rifles generally have this type of hit profile in Call of Duty, more specifically fully automatic assault rifles. Moving on, the raise time with the BAL is 0.85 seconds and the drop off time is 0.6 seconds. Staying with the rapid times, your aim down sight time is 0.25 seconds. Slower than the SMGs, but faster than the heavy weapons. Just in the middle of these two worlds. Looking at the crosshairs on the BAL 27, these are standard assault rifle crosshairs. Not too small like the SMGs, and not too large like the heavy weapons. Taking a look with the irons, the sights are moderate. Definitely not terrible, but also not the best irons in the game. Which brings me to this topic, hip firing. If you want to hip fire with the BAL 27, I would say that is not the best thing to do when facing your opponents, unless they are at point blank range, or you find yourself in very tight areas / corners, such as turning from an alley or entering a room. So it's best to aim down the sights to get yourself the kill. Moving on, we have ourselves the reload profile, which will please many. The regular reloads for the BAL 27 is 2.25 seconds, and 2.5 seconds if there aren't any bullets left in the magazine. Key reminder, the bullets enter the gun's chamber at the 1.5 second mark. Now with Advanced Warfare in play, there's a third reload type that I like to personally call a sacrifice reload, or a speed reload. I mostly call it a sacrifice reload. It might sound ridiculous to some, but that's what I like to call these types of reloads, due to the fact of, well, you losing your ammo in the process of this new reload type. The time of the sacrifice reload is 1.8 seconds, and if you have the habit of doing this, be sure to have at least 1 to 3 bullets left in the magazine, or else you will be losing a lot of ammo. Your recoil stats with the BAL is moderate to severe, if you are not controlling the kick with the gun. But this is manageable when firing at a controlled rate. Finally, you will be moving at 90% of the standard base speed, since this is an assault rifle we are talking about. Now let's get into the weapons attachments and see what you can equip with this arm. For the attachments, all will be split into 3 categories. First will be optical sights, next will be arm attachments, and finally the modifications. In my opinion, all of the attachments should be tested at least once. There could be one or a few attachments that work for you, and you may not know about it. Some are good, while others aren't so good, but some can work if you test them out. Up first, we have ourselves, of course, the optical sights. Going back with the irons on the BAL 27, they are alright, but if you have trouble with them, equipping a sight is not a bad move. Warning, some of the sights will increase your aim down sight time, like the ACOG scope. My advice is to avoid the ACOG scope, but if you have interest in using it, just keep your ears open for a certain attachment that can help you with this. And just a thing to keep in mind as you are trying and testing them out. Up next, we get ourselves the arm attachments. Lots of them to choose from, and if I were you, give them all a go and see how well you do with them. Since this gun has a high fire rate, the laser sight can help you out if you decide to hip fire with the weapon. Plus, a better chance at these close quarter engagements with the enemies is something. Bringing back the weapon sights for a quick moment, the quick draw grip can help compensate the aim down sight time. Like I said a little earlier, this is the attachment I was talking about. If you choose to attach an optical sight on the BAL, consider yourself equipping a quick draw grip. Oh, and one more thing, mostly mentioning the suppressor. If you are running with this attachment, be sure to use stealth-based tools to assist your fights. The more stealth in your setup, the better. And finally, we have the modifications. Or, as of this case, just a modification, which is extended mags. Hands down, one of the best, if not the best attachment for the BAL. Since this gun's fire rate increases over time, having 48 bullets instead of 32 can grant you more opportunities to get more kills and less reload times. With the attachments done, now let's look at the perks. All 3 tier perks will be broken down from 3rd to 1st place as of personal preference, but try them all out. Coming in at 3rd place, it is a tie between Flak Jacket and Overcharge. For the 2nd place, will have to be low profile if you're using a stealth based role. But the winner perk for tier 1 is lightweight. Allowing yourself to move faster around the battlefield will give you a higher advantage to those who do not have lightweight. But this is somewhat of the norm at the same time, since lightweight is a very popular perk. So equip yourself lightweight if you want to get to the enemies and or get to certain objectives faster. At tier 2, for 3rd place, we have Cold-Blooded. That is if you're using stealth based perks, that is. 2nd place is Fast Hands. But 1st place will have to be Peripherals, allowing you to have yourself a bigger visual of the mini-map. On the top left hand portion of the screen will give you a better visual of the map than a regular square figured map. Last but not least, we have the tier 3 perks. For 3rd place, it will have to be Blast Suppressor. 2nd place, Hardwired and Hardline are kind of a tie. But coming in at 1st place is Toughness and Scavenger. Toughness is for those who really want to stay on key with the enemies. You will need to aim down the sight with the BAL 27, so generally, Toughness will be a good choice to pick. But I would understand if you're going to be going with Scavenger. This gun will chew through a lot of bullets like a mad dog, and sometimes you will find yourself losing a lot of ammo, so giving yourself Scavenger is also a good choice. Moving on, we have ourselves the Exo abilities, which only 3 come to mind for the BAL 27. The 3 would have to be Exo Mute, Exo Overclock, but most notably Exo Stim. Since staying alive in the battlefield is one of your top priorities, if you do not want to lose that gun streak that you are working with, Exo Stim will give you that slight advantage of giving yourself additional health whenever you are severely injured. Thinking about bringing lethals and or tacticals to the field? Up first, think about considering yourself giving a variable grenade to your class. You have 4 roles that you can choose from the variable grenades. Just simply switch to your favorite and pop away. The second will have to be regular frags. Just be careful and keep yourself on the clock and count down with these frag grenades, because if you count down for too long, then the grenade will blow up in your face. But most notably, I would mostly recommend using Semtex grenades. Since you are going to be on the move a lot, Semtex grenades are like pinpoint marked explosives that you can just simply throw and not have to worry about the little grenade rolling away. Now we have the most recommended wildcards for you to choose with the BAL 27. For the blue wildcards, only one card stands out, and that is the primary gunfighter. Get used to me saying the primary gunfighter because a lot of the primary weapons can make really good use with this card. Since you have a lot of attachments to choose from, you can easily go all out with various attachments with numerous combinations. For the green wildcards, any perk greed class will do, since at the same time with the various attachments you have various perks that you can choose from and you can go crazy with them. And finally, the red tier cards, I would say go with any one of them of your choice, most notably Tactician and Streaker. Finally, the last pick 13 option that we have are the secondaries. Personally, I always run with a secondary no matter what, but you have the option of not bringing a secondary to the battle. If you are good with your primary, then you can save yourself a free slot, but I highly recommend you bring a secondary to the battle with your primary. Having any type of gun in your secondary slot is better than having a knife in there. Like I said, for this weapon it's not mandatory, but it's highly recommended. We're not done yet though. For the first time in Call of Duty, there are more types of weapons that we as players can get our hands on with the same weapon name, and that's through supply drops. The order will go as follows: permanent unlocks, enlisted, professionals, and elites, along with special exclusive weapons if there are any. Your permanent unlockable version of the BAL 27 is the BAL 223, which is unlocked at 300 kills. For the enlisted group, we have Tactical, Assaulter, Carbon, and Virtue. For the professional group, we have the Marksman and the SPR. And last but not least are the elite versions, which is the Obsidian Steed and the Inferno. Another unique unlockable for the BAL 27 is the Atlas Edition. And the only way you can get the Atlas Edition of the BAL 27 is if you get the Atlas Limited Edition and or the Atlas Pro Edition of the game. Be sure to keep your eye out for the Inferno, the Obsidian Steed, and the Marksman version of the BAL 27. For the Marksman version, there is an integrated ACOG scope, which can give you a free slot in your pick 13 class. And of course, the elite versions, since the elite versions are what we all hunt for. Well, we are almost done, because now I have saved the next info for last. It's time to see how this weapon goes down in Exo Zombies. Let's go! In Exo Zombies, the BAL 27 is only available through the 3D printer and costs 1,000 credits. Unlike the multiplayer version, in Exo Zombies, the magazine is reduced to the standard 30 rounds. On the flip side, the BAL has the highest ammo reserve capacity out of the assault rifles in Exo Zombies with 245 rounds. That is a lot of ammunition for the undead if you ask me. This is an excellent weapon to fight against the undead, if you get this weapon in the early waves. Once you advance with the waves, however, this weapon becomes more from a shredder to a credit maker. If you plan on upgrading this weapon, you will get the hybrid sight on Mark 4, rapid fire in Mark 6, a stock on Mark 10, and a laser sight in Mark 12. Bringing the BAL 27 to a close, this assault rifle is more of a standard hybrid rifle. The gun looks like and can act like a standard assault rifle, but also acts like an SMG due to its fire rate. Some could have complicated times with this gun, but it is something to try out. Like it or not, the BAL 27 is a gun to be reckoned. This concludes the weapon review of the BAL 27. Thank you all for watching. I hope you learned something new, have new ideas in your head, but most of all, I hope you enjoyed. And I hope you will join me in the next review as the first SMG makes its play, which is the KF5. Until then, game on, gamers.